Welcome one and all to my channel. My name is Donato and today's daily vlog on Thursday the 17th of January I'll be discussing some of the highlights and points that I'd learned from yesterday's marathon workshop organised by England Athletics. Cue me drinking some tea. Yes, can't beat a nice cup of tea. Thank you all so much for coming back today. Today, a momentous occasion, which is my 50th, yes, 50th daily consecutive vlog, whatever, running straight. Oh, yes, indeed. Thank you all so much for coming here each and every day. I really do appreciate the comments, and there's been so many amazing comments. I wanted to go through some of them. From yesterday, the day before this. I tell you, I can't say enough wonderful things about all you guys that watch this and take the time to not only watch this but also leave some comments, the likes, thumbs, subscribes and so on. Yes, we passed 1,000 subscribers. A few people are sort of on and off, you know, yeah. And but no, I love it, and I really am very grateful that. I mean, if I start off one of the comments from Go Kiwi, hello my Kiwi friend in New Zealand. For those who don't know, Kiwi people in New Zealand, and he said, yeah, the endurance workshop, he wanted to know, is it interesting? So what? Yeah, I'll be discussing some of those in this particular vlog. And he was asking if when he saw yesterday's vlog, if you haven't seen yesterday's, go and have a look. It was just a day in the life of what I do, and it showed a lot of things that I was eating on the go. And he was asking if I have a particular secret. Other than eating burgers and potato wedges, he said, do I have any super healthy food that, like a raw green smoothie? I don't even know what a raw green smoothie is, so maybe someone could explain that to me. So one of my future vlogs, I'll be going through my particular diet, and I did pick up, and I'll go through on that in today's summary as well, in terms of from England Athletics I'd learnt. And yes, Cole, love you Cole, out in Leeds, or Yorkshire, Leeds, Yorkshire way in England. And he said, I did do some serious amount of steps yesterday. Yeah, it was almost 35,000 steps. So, yeah, and Jasper Carrot is a legend. Yeah, quite a legend he is. And Joanne Brown over in Australia, she said, oh, congrats, I deserve it, you know, with the 1,000 subscribers, that I'm happy, friendly and great scenery of England. Sometimes I feel like I'm there running with you but can't keep it up. You know, Joanne, it's I'm sure you could keep up with me. Let's get some training in. Yeah. And yeah, thank you all so much. It's wonderful. It does feel really good. It makes me feel really good, and I hope it makes you feel really good as well. Coming here, I'm presuming you like it. That's why you keep coming back each and every day. Yes. Quick sip. So yes, yesterday was a pretty packed day. And I was within 15 minutes of missing that deadline of getting the daily vlog out. But I got it out just before midnight. So it was a pretty full-on day. Out, heading towards the gym from about 6 AM. Go and watch it from 6 AM. Getting back, editing. And I uploaded by about 1/4 to midnight. And then catching up on emails. So it was a bit of a long day. Not your usual typical day for me. Because that would be pretty exhaustive. Which I'll go on to the marathon training workshop, yeah? Was it a marathon training workshop or marathon workshop? The exact wording, I think it was just called a marathon workshop, endurance training. And there was some amazing people there. There was lots of people like me, you know, members of clubs from around England, and coaches and so on and so forth, people looking to go into coaching, and people who are just there to want to know about what endurance training is involved. And there was 3 key people who were there. Oh, I need to get their names right so I pronounce it all correctly. There was Nick Anderson, who's the lead endurance coach for England Athletics. There was also Dr. Charlie Pedlar, who's a leading, as the word names, doctor. He was very much talking about the physiology of running and all these research. He's done years and years of research, and I'll cover some of those points. And there was also Mara Yamauchi. You may not have heard of Mara Yamauchi. She is the second, obviously, I think a lot of you guys have heard of Paula Radcliffe. Yeah, have you heard of Paula Radcliffe? There's a picture of me with Paula when I was in New York. not last year, year before. So it seems like last year, but obviously November wasn't that long ago. But yeah, it was 2017 November. Paula Radcliffe is the current world record holder for ladies marathon distance, and Mara is the second fastest British female athlete at marathon distance. Quite a legend and amazing lady, very much down to earth, and I'll cover some of the points that she went through there. So those were the three key speakers, people that were talking there, and there was a lot of really useful information, lots of questions coming from the floor as well, from people wanting to know this, that and the other, and I think for a lot of people, and maybe a lot of you people, are looking for some hacks, some shortcuts, some hints, tips to help us get to where we want to get to a bit quicker, no pun intended there, quicker, faster and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I guess that's why you're watching, and I'll just go through some of the real key points. Yeah. Now, the Dr. Pedlar who's there, Dr. Charlie Pedlar, sorry, Charlie. I'll put my teeth back in. Dr. Charlie Pedlar went through, now he's been doing research, and had been doing research with Mara back in the day when she was a top athlete. So there's a lot of science and information has been collated, and a lot of the key indicators. I'm only going to really summarise because it was 2 hours worth. Yeah, 2 hours. So I'm not really going to talk for 2 hours on here. I'm just going to give you a quick précis of what was discussed, and there was a lot of key things in terms of how to help people. But the key thing that came out, and this may not be a surprise to many of you, is that everybody is an individual. Everybody is different, and different types of training people can respond better to different types of training, whether it be speed work, repeat sessions, hill repeats, whatever, or just going out and doing aerobic training. Everybody responds in different ways, and it's a case of finding what works for you. And this is where the training comes in. And I know that Thomas over in Germany will know this, who's been running for many, many years. Thomas has been running since the 70s, 80s. And I'm sure he'll leave a comment below, and you're all welcome to leave comments below on what's being said. But the key thing that was coming out is everybody is different, and this is where a lot of the questions were coming from the floor, where they were asking for that magic pill, that magic formula, that magic thing, you know. And the key thing is we need to build up, as endurance athletes, we need to build our endurance within our body, and the only way of doing that is going out running. And they showed some research of an athlete who was coming in, I think, every week and doing some tests. And there was about 3 years worth of tests. And what it showed was a progressive increase of their endurance and fitness level, and their PBs were going quicker and quicker and quicker. Yeah, so you do your consistent training, and this is what I've been, not preaching in a way, because I don't regard myself as a preacher, but sort of stating maybe the obvious, that if you do consistent training, you're going to improve. That's just how we are. That we are born, and we have our physiology and all that type of stuff, depending on what stimulus we provide. And that was a lot of talk that was being said by the doctor, is people respond to different types of stimulus, different types of exercise, and some people respond better than others. That's why a lot of people, it's no point really comparing others, and I did find out that there's a few top athletes who've deleted their Strava accounts. Yeah, I mean, I deleted my Strava account. I think there's some people who look at the information and misinterpret it, or misread it, or interpret it in a way that they want it to suit them. So, you know, if you get, say, 2 athletes and they're both 28, both of a certain size, both of a certain weight, they may not respond to the same types of stimulus and training exactly the same, but in terms of how they work, that's what I'm trying to say, is looking and comparing at what people do isn't really the best way. We've got to find what works for us, and trying different things is great. But what really came out, and this is where, you know, speaking with, I did ask the question with Mara on, she was talking about speeds and tactics and so on. But the key thing in her summary, what she said, is because, especially we live in a world of social media. I mean, you're watching this on YouTube, it's a social media platform. There is an awful lot of information out there, and if you get onto Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, whoa, you know, we get overloaded with information. But the key thing, and this is what I've said, and I may have said it months ago, I'll have to dig out that vlog where I've said it, and I do keep saying it. And some people do throw things back at me saying it's not just that, but it is a key ingredient. Whilst it might not just be this, it is very much a key ingredient. And Mara reiterated this. It says, you need to find what you believe in. What you do, you need to really believe in it. And if it's not working for you, you need to find something that's working for you. So find what you believe in. I know it sounds a bit philosophical, and that's why I often talk about that, especially with endurance running and a lot of certain sports, it's 95, I believe it's 95% mental, 95%, 5% physical. And again, people will disagree with that, and they're welcome to disagree with that. Oops, as I knock the camera. But the key thing is belief. Now, Mara is obviously, you know, she's the second fastest woman, very sensible lady. She took up marathon running late on in life and became one of the top athletes. And there in itself may be a message as well, that maybe we shouldn't start so young in terms of doing endurance, running endurance athleticism type thing, but believe in terms of what we do. Makes sense? And some of the other points that were coming out and questions was all around was diet as well. And yes, I know my Kiwi friend was asking about diet, but I need to stress the information and the science that these people have is from elite athletes. These are the best of the best. Yeah, they're representing their countries, and they are the fastest of the fast. And it was no surprise that it's about balanced diet. There was no key foodstuffs. I think they talked about the 5 a day. Speaking of which, I need a sip on my tea. Now, I know Dr. Charlie Pedlar mentioned about the 5 a day, and that for elite athletes it's more like 10 a day. You know, we need more of those things to come into our bodies. But I need to stress, this is at elite level. Elite level. These are people who are running 2 hours. I think the markers for men is under 2 hours 30, for ladies under 2 hours 55, but these elite guys are running, guys and gals, are all running under 2 hours 30, some 2 hours 15, and their diets are going to be different to what my diet is, yeah? So what I ate yesterday in terms of burgers, potato wedges and so on, I don't think they'd be eating that on a regular basis, but they are, I have to stress, they are elite, yeah? So again, when I mentioned earlier is that we're all different, and what I eat and what you eat may be different. You know, my body responds to certain things. I love my pasta, I love pizza, and I love my Indian food, I love Chinese takeaways, so I'm probably eating a lot of high carb. You know, I never really measure it, I just eat what I enjoy to eat. So whilst I may be fast comparative to some other people, I'm not elite, if you know what I mean, yeah? So if I needed to get to those levels, I probably would have to change my diet to do that, yeah? Does that make sense? So for a lot of people who may be watching this, yes, changing the diets may help, unless you're eating, I don't know, chocolates and sweets and drinking beer and wine every day. You probably don't need to change your diet that much, you know. However, if you are eating lots of chocolate bars, drinking Lucozade 24/7, or beer, or alcohol, wine, whatever, then maybe you need to cut back on some of those things to enable us to actually train and recover. Which leads me nicely on to the final piece that I want to discuss in terms of summary, which was about recovery. Recovery. That was the number one thing that kept coming out, and we were talking about these gadgets as well, yeah, and how it tracks and monitors our sleep patterns and so on and so forth. And again, I need to have another sip on this tea because my throat's drying out. Sleep patterns and all that, we got all the tech. But in Mara's days, you know, she goes back, we didn't have that technology. And her key message was, rather than focusing on looking at the data focus on the things that help us get better sleep patterns, you know, in terms of reducing the noise, making the bedroom clutter-free, having a good bed to sleep on, real good common sense stuff, because the recovery is really, really important. People asked about the 2 training sessions a day, how's that? And again, this is more geared at the elite athletes who are running around 100 miles a week. 100 miles a week! Yes, and a lot of them will train morning, afternoon, evening, but these are professional athletes and more than likely don't have a day job like we have to do to go and sit at a desk or whatever. So their recovery is really essential. And it did come out that, you know, for some people, training in the morning and training in the afternoon is not a good idea because there's not enough time to recover. So recovery is essential. And I think I've said this in my trilogy, or the trilogy, the 3 important ingredients of training is, sorry, for marathon running. Gave one of those away. In terms of the key ingredients, is the three pillars, whatever you want to call it. Yes, it's the training, you know, the running part. 2 is the diet, nutrition and food that we take in. 3 is the recovery. Have I said that enough? We need to ensure we get enough sleep and enough recovery. And Mara did touch on the point, for a lot of athletes like you and me, a lot of us watching it, we do have day jobs and families, children, mortgages, all sorts of things that we have to deal with, daily stresses of lives, and that has an impact on our bodies. And that's why in a way, yesterday I mentioned, if those of you who did watch it, I did cut my run short, much shorter than I would normally do, because I knew that for that day I'd be out for my work yesterday. I was out walking a hell of a lot. I think I may have mentioned it earlier, almost 35,000 steps. That's a lot of walking and running. Obviously I had me run in the morning, but I did cut it short. So for me to have done a run and done all that walking, I'd probably be really exhausted, maybe not ready for my next run at lunchtime coming up, because it's damn cold here. So yeah, and obviously having a late night, I needed to make sure I had a good night's sleep. So that's it really. In terms of summary, is it's about the recovery. It's about believing in what you do. And the third and foremost is we're all different, and it's find what you believe in. So find what you believe in, number 1. Number 2 is believe in what you do. And number 3 is recovery. Make sure there's enough recovery. Hopefully that's it. Some good points for you. If you've got any comments, questions that you want to ask, obviously I've not gone through the whole 2 hours. There's lots of other information as well, and I may cover some of those points as we go through on the daily vlogs. And if there's any information that you'd like me to cover, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you are new here, feel free to leave a comment and say hello wherever you are in the world, and give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and so on and so forth. So thank you all so much for watching this. I really do appreciate the time that you take coming here each and every day. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on Friday. I haven't worked out what I'm going to talk about. It might be dependent on what questions I get below. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. And I look forward to seeing you, as I said, tomorrow. I think that's it really, isn't it? Yeah? Is there more to talk about? Gotta go. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.